Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
I'm not saying anything's a bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work, scared, dull. Dollar like banks, bugs, zombies, guns, punks are running wild in the street. Anywhere, they know what to do with it. They do it. You know, the air is unfit to breathe. Our food is unfit to eat. We say what not to eat. While some local newscaster tells us today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes. That's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. It's crazy. It's like everywhere is going crazy and we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller and all we say is please, the big tree was alone in our living room. And my toaster and my TV and my steel melted away the old time old baby. Just leave us alone. Well, I can do it. I want you to get mad. Wait a minute. You ain't heard nothing. Wait a minute, I tell you. You ain't heard nothing. I want you to get up. I want all of you to get up out of the chair. I want you to get up right now. Go to the window. Open it. Stick your head out and yell. I'm mad as hell. I'm not going to take this anymore.
I'm mad as hell! I'm not gonna take it anymore! I'm mad as hell! I'm not gonna take it anymore!
Welcome, everybody, to another special live edition of the David Pollack Show. We're doing things different. We're doing things live. And, of course, I always bring with me, I don't know if we call him my sidekick, my main puppet, co-host, I think would be too nice for this guy. Welcome there, Puppet Carlson.
What's up, David? What's up,
Not-
everybody out there? It's Puppet Carlson here.
Puppet, we got a crazy show today. Put a lot together. I screwed the opening. I've been trying to redo the opening, that whole, special live edition, featuring Puppet Carlson in there, and then I screwed up the volume because I was trying to make it lower. And anyway, I do everything myself. This is a do-it-yourself program, and I'm going to fix that for next week. But Puppet,
Yeah, buddy.
very exciting. I have a lot of really exciting things for he's talking about the I'm sure everybody his went down. I was reporting it morning till media started saying that it was a quote unquote hard landing. I knew there was some trouble. Apparently there was a big storm and I guess it blew in. It's like I guess it's snowing in Iran this time of year. I don't know. So it was snowing, and there was a big snowstorm, and whatever. The helicopter went down in the mountains in the fog, and they took like 10 hours for rescue teams to find the helicopter. And when they did, there seemed to be nothing left. Videos and images show really just the tail section. I actually have that video here. We'll play it for everybody real quick.
Almost as if it was blown to smithereens or something.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about that here in a second. Hold on, let me put this on. Actually, you know what? I'm going to save this clip for later. You guys stay tuned. I'm going to put this on after the break because there's other stuff I have to talk about too. Because and I don't even know if I'm going to get into the very, very exciting testimony, cross-examination of not only Cohen, but there was fireworks at the Trump trial today. But Wednesday's show, we're going to be talking about a lot about this, actually. So I might not talk about it today, but we'll see. And then also a good friend of mine, Cynthia Hughes, she's the founder of the Patriot Freedom Project. After her nephew, Tim, who was in the Army, stepped foot into the Capitol on January 6th and his whole life was destroyed. And she started an organization to help the families of people who are falling victim to the over-prosecution there. So we're going to bring her on soon. She's going to be joining us right just after about 8:10 p.m. Eastern. So we're going to be talking about that tonight because she has a brand new documentary coming out, and I'm super excited to talk about that. So
Yeah, that's cool. That's gonna be great.
yeah, we got a crazy show tonight, and we'll try to fit it all in. I haven't had an action-packed show where I don't have enough time to talk about everything in a long time. So I'm really excited about that. But without further ado,
That's not true.
well, that's true. Without any more delay, Miss Liberty Valkyrie Heather McIsaac. She's joining us again today too on the crazy David Pollack Show live. Heather, welcome.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, Heather.
You got this cool like green glow thing going on tonight. Don't change it.
I can change that.
No. I like it. I'm just pointing it out. It's like, and I also like our head positions on here. It's like ordinarily in life, it's just the opposite. I'm usually the lower guy here, but tonight I feel tall. So this is good. I like the layout on this.
I'm always the shortest, so this works.
Oh yeah, this works for me too. Welcome. I'm sure you heard me preview what we're going to be talking about tonight.
I'm taller now. I have the ability to grow.
You're a grower, not a shower.
That's right.
So, Heather, I'm sure you heard me preview the show tonight. What's your thoughts on, just superficially, what are you most excited about? You want to hear about this great organization helping January 6 families, talk about this Trump trial, this insane helicopter crash. Lots going on tonight. What are your thoughts on all of it?
I'm ready for all of it. One, I think it's fantastic when we talk about J6ers and their plight because they often get forgotten about. And people don't realize the gravity of how these people's lives have just been impacted for more cases than not. They didn't really do anything. It was being at the wrong place. I don't want to say necessarily at the wrong time, but maybe being affiliated with the wrong political party.
Well, yeah.
So I'm stoked to hear from her. This whole thing with the Iran president.
Yeah.
That's a big...
crazy, right?
It's crazy.
And you know, crazy. Puppet, you already alluded to it. There's blown the smithereens. Twitter is already ablaze and other social media platforms.
I'm sure we know.
With theories that the United States government or Israel or some adversarial government to Iran created the storm. And then they, and I think even Alex Jones was reporting that they scrubbed the weather data or something to hide, I guess, the weather phenomenon that was created. So there are certainly some conspiracy theories out there. And then some are legitimately worried that Iran will just blame it on the United States just to kind of cause, or Israel.
And that's the thing is, quite frankly, we aren't ever going to really know, in my opinion, of what happened. We're going to know what Iran wants us to know. And it's going to be used, in my opinion, as an excuse for whatever action that they plan on carrying out next. Because we will never know. So if they want to blame this on whomever, how else are we going to disprove it?
Well, I mean, I think we know what we know. They were in a helicopter that was built in like the 1920s. They can't get parts for it because it's because of sanctions and such. So they kind of put it together with duct tape. It's surprisingly, I don't know, all that equipment we left in Joe Biden's disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan. I don't know why they couldn't part it together with things from there. But so they have this old helicopter.
Obviously, they didn't get any of that. They don't have any of that.
Right, they didn't, or maybe. And then they have they're flying in fog. I mean, didn't we learn from Kobe?
Yeah,
you don't fly helicopters in the mountains in the fog. Like, how do you fly the Iranian president and the defense minister? But nobody's talking about him. But that's fine. How do you fly the Iranian president in a mountainous area in the middle of fog in a shoddy helicopter? That's not anybody's fault but Iran, right?
On the surface, yeah.
No.
Absolutely.
It leads me to question because, okay, so when I drove in, I was a driver for our convoy team in Afghanistan, and you have your convoy commander, the person that leads the convoy. They are protected. They are in a certain vehicle. When you have higher ups of, brass officers overseas, they are bubble wrapped. So it also leads the question of if the weather was inclement, what were the conditions that caused them to take that risk, knowing all of that?
Well, and maybe, so the replacement, I don't have his name in front of me right now. The replacement supposedly is even worse than this guy. And we'll talk to Sarah Raviani. She's going to come on later and talk to us about that. I don't know if you guys know Sarah. She's a visiting fellow at NUFD Iran. She's focused on Iran policy, and she was big on passing the Masha Act. So she'll come and give us her insights on the government, but maybe they wanted him gone. It's very interesting, but I want to turn it back real quick. Because Cynthia's going to be joining us in a moment to January 6th. And look, people are like, I'm sick of hearing January 6th. Can't we just move on from January 6th?
No, how do you move on from that?
And that's the truth. And the thing is, I'm sure they would love for us to stop talking about January 6th. But in reality, there's still people being arrested. There are still people in solitary confinement for a year for doing nothing other than protesting or following a crowd into a building that, if you look at the media, anywhere between 2020 or 2016 to 2020, it seemed like violent protests were totally acceptable in the United States. So none of these people really thought, now, let me be clear. There were people who fully intended to commit harm and violence and cause problems on that day. There's a difference, though, and this is what Cynthia talks about a lot. There's a difference between the people who showed up to break stuff, people who sought to take advantage of the crowd, and versus people who were there, emotional, passionate, and got swept up in the emotion of it, literally walked through the Capitol and left, touched nothing. And those people being swatted, their families destroyed, their lives destroyed, some people succumbing to the pressure. Jerry Parna's son, Matthew, who was charged as a terrorist for just walking in the building. There's a difference between people, but yet the media casts everybody in this light of January 6th. Oh, you're a January 6ther. They provide a name to them, and they try to make them like demons, and they're destroying lives. And when they were done with the initial dragnet of January 6ers, now they're going after everybody who was on the Capitol grounds that day. I mean, they're expanding it. Now, I have my theories on why they're continuing to prosecute these folks. But the reason why we can't stop talking about January 6th, and I'll always remember this, I was at Brandon Strzok's Walk-A-Con, one of the best political events I've ever been to, in Palm Beach. And he had Derek Evans come speak. Brandon has his story, of course, very compelling. And then Jerry Parnas speaks. And Jerry Parnas told a story, and she's going to be on our space tonight, by the way, the post-show space beginning at 9 p.m. on X. But she tells a story about her nephew, Matthew, who was just walked through the Capitol, took a couple of pictures, left. He was treated horribly, charged with a million felonies, charged with terrorism, and his whole life, his family was destroyed. His life was destroyed. He was so embarrassed, and eventually the pressure got to him, and he killed himself. And you take Cynthia's nephew, for example, Tim. Tim was serving in the Army. They got him discharged from the Army. They put him in solitary confinement for COVID protocols for a year. And there's stories, hundreds of stories like this. So as much as people want to go, let's not talk about January 6th anymore. Let's move on. The reason why we talk about January 6th, because if we forget what happened and we allow what happened to these folks to continue to happen, what's next? What happens after this election in November if Trump wins, but they don't inaugurate him? Instead, they do something funny over in D.C. and they decide to not elect or they convince enough electors to not cast their votes. And next thing you know, Congress is electing somebody else besides Trump. What happens if people protest then? So the slippery slope you go down is if people are allowed to be put in jail for solitary confinement for protesting, even if the protest gets out of hand, and you're allowed to overcharge people, and we've seen it with Trump, if you're allowed to overcharge people to the point where these folks are scared to even speak out, because I know that since January 6th, I've been afraid to speak out. Like, I go on X and I talk on, even on this show, even right now, I'm thinking about the things in my head that I'm going to say, because I'm worried that if I say the wrong thing, I'm going to get a knock on my door and somebody with a suit's going to sit in my living room and tell me how I'm getting ready to go to jail. So free speech itself was attacked after January 6th. Our minds were attacked, and now nobody knows what the line is with protest anymore, because you still consider to see these free Palestine people attack people, assault Jewish people trying to go to school, assault professors. Nothing happens to them. So is it just conservatives that can't speak? I'll throw it back to you guys before we bring on Cynthia.
Well, the other thing that I was going to mention, when you said that they're continuing to arrest people, almost 4 or 5 years later, how are they acquiring the data to arrest them? That's another thing to look at. It's the weaponization of the 3-letter agencies. They're looking at people's credit card purchases. They're looking to see where their cell phones pinged them. AT&T, Visa, and MasterCard were all complicit with handing this information over. So it's not just about freedom of speech, it's about freedom of purchases. And it's also about freedom of being able to travel with a cell phone and not have to worry about the government coming after where the cell phone tower pinged you at.
Yeah.
Because that's how they're going off all of this. They're seeing who was there, how the cell phones were pinged, what purchases were made. They're hoping it all lines up for enough for a knock on the door.
No. Yeah, and you remember Johnson was supposed to release the tapes, and the argument to not releasing the tapes is, if you release the tapes, the three-letter agencies will have all the evidence they need to go after all the rest of the January Sixers. They have it anyway. The only people who don't have is us. The
Yeah, you think
exonerating
they don't
evidence that
have
won't
the
be
tapes?
released.
Give me a break.
Yeah, I know.
I mean,
It's ridiculous.
obviously. I mean, this is the problem. It's one lie after the next, one complete gaslight after the next. The whole J6 hearings was all a gaslight. And all of this, and this is what we have to remember, all of the...
Oh, Puppet disappeared.
What
Oh,
happened?
no.
I don't
He was
even
about to
hear-
make a
wait,
great point, and he just
I'm
disappeared
going to
off
make a
the
great
screen.
point. What? Just hang on a second.
You know, I certainly can't see your mouth moving. You're
It's also a puppet.
Can I come back? Am I going to come back?
Puppet, you're ruining my broadcast.
So I'm going to come back. Hang on.
What? But the people at home want to know. Turn your lights back on, Puppet. See, the FBI already turned out his lights. They're going to raid his house
I think it's the FBI.
any second.
I truly do. I think the FBI is coming for me.
That's it. You're going to hear the windows. They're going to shove you in
They
a
went
trunk.
after the weakest target, the one that doesn't have opposable thumbs.
That's it. They're going to throw him in a trunk. They're going to say it's for his own good. All
Watch
right.
out for your manhole. I don't know how that works in
well,
jail.
That's
One
well,
sec. I
going
think
into
I might
go
have
into
to come
solitary
back.
case finement. Oh, there he is. He's back. You know, it was better
Okay.
when your lights were off. Can you just go back and turn your lights back off?
Yeah, I'll turn mine off if you turn yours off.
Well, if I turn mine off, we won't have a show. Well, that's okay.
Oh,
Everyone
yeah,
will
we
look
might
at
have a
Heather and
good
they'll be
show.
very happy.
We might have a good show.
Yeah.
So-
All right. Listen, I got to
So,
guess.
no, wait, I'm
waiting in
making
the
this
back.
point.
Go ahead.
Dang it.
Go
So,
ahead. Make your point, Puppet.
so all of that, the reason they're putting everybody in jail is because they have to create the idea and the reality that this is an insurrection, because if they can, then they can get Trump.
Right.
So every one of these poor people is really collateral damage, and it's all just a red herring to get Trump, to create the fact that this is really an insurrection, that this really was worse than Pearl Harbor and worse than 9/11.
Worse than 9/11.
It's all of
Well, I
this.
mean, it was just in his little speech that he gave. You can't be pro-insurrection and pro-blue.
No, he said something like, he didn't even say insurrection. He said sex something or other. I saw it. Somebody said, did you
Insects.
see this? I didn't even I should have put it up. Hold on.
Hey,
He said,
we need a video for that.
yeah, I should have put it up today. I was too busy. He said erectionists, he called them.
Erections. Well,
He called them erectionists, believe it or not. So,
He's hanging out with Hunter too much.
yeah. All right.
well,
Smart.
Without
Right,
without
and
further
so-
delay, I do not want to keep Cynthia waiting anymore.
No, come on, bring her on, bring her on.
I'm honored, and I think now I've only talked to Cynthia like twice, but now I consider her like my new best friend. She's one of these people you get on the phone and you could just talk to for an hour. Before you know it, you're having coffee, then you're having dessert, and then you're
Right.
going outside to say goodbye, and then you're on the porch for a few more minutes saying goodbye. Then she walks you to the car, and then you hang out at the car for a few minutes, and then you go to say goodbye, and then you get in the car, and then you roll down the window, and then you have a conversation in the window. You all know those kind of people that you can just never stop talking to.
Yeah.
That's Cynthia Hughes. She's an amazing woman. She's the founder of the Patriot Freedom Project, and she's helping J6 families. Their
she
lives have
hasn't
been
gotten to
torn
know
apart.
you yet, obviously.
Well, that's true. She won't talk to me. She's gonna get all the talking out of the way, and then soon it's gonna be like, bye-bye, boom, door in the face, like I'm selling something.
That's how
But,
it works for you.
Yeah. But anyway, let me welcome Cynthia to the show. Cynthia, welcome to the David Pollack Show live with Puppet Carlson and Heather McIsaac.
Hello, everybody. It is so good to be here with you, and I agree with you, your sentiments, David. I feel like we've known each other forever now.
We're besties.
Yes.
We're gonna share some soup, and we're gonna have we're gonna go to the good bakeries because you're up in Jersey, right?
Yes.
You
Yes.
still have good food there. Now, there's not a lot great about Jersey, and I know you probably hear a lot of garbage about it. But you have really good pizza, really good bakeries, and you have seasons,
good
which is
bagels.
Diners, too.
The
Well,
best bagels, and we are home of the pork roll, the famous pork roll sandwich.
I
So-
love with or without ketchup.
I'm not a salt, pepper, ketchup girl with my pork roll sandwich.
Listen, there's
Sorry.
nothing better than a pork roll sandwich with an egg, with a little bit of ketchup and a runny egg. Oh my gosh! If you guys don't know, you need to go and find a place that has a pork roll sandwich. You don't know what you're missing. Well, enough about food. Let's talk about something very serious and very important.
Food.
What, Puppet? What's your objection?
You said very important, and I said food. That's very
well.
important.
Food is important, but you can't even eat. He's just jealous because he lives in this world.
Eat. That's why I like to talk about food.
Yeah, he just thinks about what food would taste like.
Yeah,
and he's just, But turning to the very important topic of January 6th, you have an amazing organization, Patriot Freedom Project. And you guys have done an amazing work. And very briefly, I'll catch the audience up to speed. Your nephew, Tim, he walked around the Capitol, didn't break anything, didn't do anything. And like the many stories we heard, was swept up in the dragnet. I think it was a week after January 6th. They took him down. They ruined his life. And I'll let you pick it up from there and tell the story about how you became the person you are today, leading the charge for January 6th families.
Well, thank you. Thank you for that. I got the phone call. He was, arrested. I got a call from his best friend. He was arrested. It was a Sunday morning, and it was, jump right into action, locate him. Where is he? And make sure he's okay. This is a good kid. This is somebody who does not get in trouble with the law. This was somebody who was, a 12-year Army reservist veteran at the time. And a very well-educated, well-spoken, articulate young man. So I was in panic mode. It was a Sunday morning, the day before a holiday. I believe Martin Luther King Day. We were coming up on Joe Biden's inauguration, and so it was a critical time. So heard from him a few days later. He was in New Jersey. He got bounced around the country, ended up in D.C., where he was put into solitary confinement. The stories of solitary confinement are very true. He was in solitary confinement for more than 1 year, along with the other men that he was in jail with. And it was very difficult for communication. I mean, these men and some women could not speak to their lawyer. They could not have visits with their families. There were no video visits in the DC jail. And these people were living in jail cells by themselves. They didn't have a bunkmate, if you will. And that's how they were for more than 1 year. You came out for an hour at first. It was an hour a day. And in that hour, you had to take your shower, make a cup of coffee, and, call who you could before you went back in 50 minutes later. Eventually it became 3 hours a day. Eventually it became 5 hours a day. And solitary confinement was still happening for Tim up until he left the DC jail and went on to his prison, where he served his 1 year, 3-year sentence. But at that point, he only had about a year to go because he had already been in jail more than 2 years. So, Tim did not commit violence. He did not commit any assaults on anybody, and he was charged with the famous charge everybody knows, the 1512 obstruction of an official proceeding, which just recently went in front of the Supreme Court a few weeks ago. We're awaiting an answer from the Supreme Court if that's going to be overturned, which we feel very confident that it will be. And it massacred his life. It massacred his life and many others. He should not have been held in jail at all. He should not have been denied bond, not once, not twice, but 3 times, twice in front of the judge, and then, at the appeals level.
That's unreal.
But yet they found justification to keep him behind bars, and, many others like him. In December, he spent a few months, and he's a very strong person, strong in mind. He's got a long road ahead of him.
No, you're here.
Hello?
Your signal's a little weak, but you're fine. We hear you just fine.
Hello?
Can you see us?
I could see you, and I could see everybody kind of moving, but then that's it. I couldn't hear you.
Can you not hear?
I can hear you. I hear you good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah, that was weird. It was very weird. So, he's home now, and we're, we have an uphill battle, and, it's trying to find employment. He was, kicked out of the Army with an other than honorable discharge, lost his benefits, his housing, the whole 9 yards. And it's pick up the pieces. And, as strong as he is, and he's a very strong dude, Tim, made of good bones, he's had 3 years of his freedom robbed from him by his very own government, the same government that he worked for. And I want you to know, not only the same government that he worked for, but when Tim served his prison sentence, it was on the base where he did his weekend warrior stuff, which is just, mind-boggling. But where do you fit in now? How do you pick up the pieces and move forward? You have to reclaim and rebuild your entire life, and see where you fit in. I mean, there's people that hate these January 6th defendants. There's people that hate these J6ers and are doing everything in power that they possibly can to, make sure that they continue to be, living in peril, if you will. So but we're making it, and he's doing good. And there's so many people just like him. But the families, David, the families, there's women out here that are working 2 and 3 jobs. They've lost health insurance for their children because their husbands have lost their jobs. I mean, there are men that have gotten years behind bars, and women who have also, years of Rachel Powell out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, mother of 8, youngest child is about to turn 8 years old. She has a grandchild that's going to be born this month. And, she did break a window at the Capitol, and it's wrong, and she regrets it, and she's sorry for it, but she didn't hurt nobody, and she didn't commit violence. And she was on 3 years of a very serious and strict home confinement. She couldn't leave her house, couldn't even check the mail. Couldn't go to a pediatric doctor's appointment with her youngest child because the courts would not allow her. They did not count that time in her sentencing, and they went ahead and they hit her with a 5-year prison sentence anyway. And so she's now, rotting in prison, and she's, separated from her children. And I mean, the toll on these children, and that's the biggest thing for me. The biggest thing for me is helping these children survive this trauma in their life. You have children that were born while their dad was in prison, women that were pregnant when their husbands got arrested or their boyfriend got arrested. There's a lot of, collateral damage in this that's not talked about in the media, that nobody is really talking about. While it's important to focus on January 6th, and we need to do that, nobody's talking about this stuff. And this is a big deal for me. I had a troubled upbringing, to be very honest with you. And I know what it's like to be a survivor and to, fight the demons around you, and land on your feet. And I want to, teach that to these children and help these families as best I can. And that's what we've been doing for the better part of 3 years now.
Now you, and you've done an amazing job, and your organization, you've been endorsed by Trump. You've taken care of a lot of families who have been able to raise a lot of money, and you've done great work. And now you're having a documentary here now. That's going to be released any day, right? Could you tell us a little bit about that? And actually, and I think I have, and I don't know if I can call this a trailer or not, but the clips you sent me, I have a portion of one here, so I can share with the audience to kind of give them an idea about what they can expect. I was trying to find a small clip. I started watching what you started showing. I couldn't stop watching. I had a hard time just cutting it down to the 2-minute clip that I'm about to show because what you have here is so compelling. Let me show a little clip real quick, and then we'll talk about it.
Thank you.
We're all going to live to regret that.
It feels like the dawn of a new era in terms of prosecuting right-wing extremists.
I saw the violent mob storming the Capitol on January 6th.
Those violent right-wing terrorists were ransacking the Capitol, trying to overthrow the government.
This mob of insurrectionists down Pennsylvania Avenue.
Home security threats in terms of violent white nationalism that's threatening our Capitol.
And came ready to commit insurrection.
Active are former police officers and military veterans who were personally involved, who were insurrectionists themselves.
Confederates back then never breached the Capitol, as insurrectionists did on January the 6th.
Insurrectionists, violent extremists, men and women bent on taking over the Capitol in insurrection. That's what I heard the media and pundits say about the people who were there on January 6th. But when I watched and read and looked closely, the Department of Justice wasn't charging people with insurrection. They didn't seem to be charging people with all the things that the media and the pundits were claiming happened. And I realized we've got to get to the bottom of this. We've got to get to who these people really are, who the January 6th defendants are, and especially who are their families? Who's around them? What are they about? This is what I found. These are their stories, the stories of the families of January 6th.
My name is Cynthia Hughes. I'm the founder of the Patriot Freedom Project. I'm a mom, a wife. I'm from New Jersey. And life was very normal and quiet before January 6th. I founded the Patriot Freedom Project after my loved one, my nephew, who was being held in solitary confinement in the DC jail, needed somebody to step up and advocate.
Yeah, that I like I said, I had a hard time cutting. I was like, where do I cut? I could have showed the whole hour. You have that at the website. I recommend everybody go check it out. Now, could you tell me a little bit about the documentary that's coming out and the stories? And I mean, it's really compelling stuff.
Yeah. I thank you. Thank you for that. You know, there's so many documentaries and so many books and so many stories out about the day of January 6th. And it's very important that we watch them and we read about it and we follow, people like you, David, and Julie Kelly, and, Paul and Gracia, and big people who are reporting, accurately and factual about what occurred on January 6th. And by the way, before I go further, that was one of our board members, Ed Martin. Ed Martin is the president of the Phyllis Schlafly Eagle Foundation. He's a lawyer. He's handled some J6 cases. And he just recently got appointed to the RNC as a deputy policy director alongside Russ Voigt over at the Center for Renewing America. So we're really honored and proud to have Ed on our team. He's been a great friend and mentor. So kudos to Ed. He's going to fight for all of us, and do what he can. Ed is so passionate about these families, and he really saw my vision and wanted to get behind me. And so we work really great together, and we decided to put this documentary together and also write a book to go along with the documentary. And we call it Due Process Denied. And we wanted to highlight, what was happening to the families, where the real collateral damage was lying, and where the heartache and the the obliteration of the American family was not being talked about. So we thought doing a documentary and telling the stories of these families and letting these families tell their story would be really crucial and important. But I got to tell you, David, we put part 1 out a year ago, and it's really hard to watch. You can find it at our website, dueprocessdenied.org. You could see the full part 1 there for free and hear these heartbreaking stories. Like, for example, we have the story of Jose Padilla, and his wife is on there, and she's talking about, how their life was when he was in the military and he would go on deployment. And then all of a sudden she realizes, and you see the pain in her, that this is not a deployment. This is harder than a deployment, she says. And these are the stories that have to be told, and, alongside with what happened on January 6th, because we need to expose the truth about January 6th. But we also need to tell these stories because they're very, very, very crucial and critical. I just got a phone call on Friday from a man who just recently was arrested. Him and his wife are trying, not that I want to talk his business, and I'm not going to say who it is, but they're about to, start the process to get pregnant. And that's a very serious thing. And they've been waiting for this moment. And now here, almost 3 years later, here comes the FBI, banging on his door. Guess what? We're coming for you. And, while they're misdemeanor charges, I've spoken to this man, and it's heartbreaking listening to him. He's like, I live a normal life. I'm a normal person. I'm taking care of my wife who, we're trying to have a baby, and, my in-laws are here, and, they're immigrants, and he's a hard worker, and he's a union man, and, in the world that he works in. And it's heartbreaking listening to him. I'm afraid to go forward with a public defender. I don't know what to do. Do I hire the best lawyer? I'm going to liquidate this. I'm going to liquidate that. I'm going to sell off this. I mean, these are the stories that I hear on a regular basis from these people, and it's not slowing down. I've been listening to these stories for more than 3 years now. And here's a man who just very recently was arrested along with somebody else. You know, we're putting the money together to help with the legal fees, and we're going to have to figure out, you know, how we're going to help his family. God forbid if he goes to jail. So the government, specifically Biden's DOJ, is not going to slow down on this. They're going to ramp up things, I believe, between now and the election. And just to touch on that, if you're paying attention to what's going on in New York, in the Trump trial, this is what we're dealing with every day in these trials in DC. And you know, you have a court system that should be allowing these trials to be televised, especially because here's another thing. You have people caught up in the J6, movement from all over the country, and everything is happening in DC. So that's another thing that we're helping with these families. You got to figure out how to get these families to DC, the wife, the mother, the father, the children, paying for their travel, paying for their hotel. Who's doing it? Nobody. We're doing it, and we've been doing it, and we're going to continue to do it. And we need help. We need support. We need the American people who are passionate about this, who are disgusted with this, who don't like to hear these stories, to get behind us. Donate monthly, $5, $10, $20. Make a one-time donation. Anything that you can do. Send in gift cards. We help with the families during back to school time, so moms can buy sneakers and backpacks and school supplies. We help at Halloween, so kids can make sure they have their Halloween costumes. We even buy Christmas trees at Christmas time. And we like to give out gift cards. We like to make sure these women are doing their own shopping. There has to be normalcy for these families because there's nothing normal in their life right now. So we like to try to help them keep their heads above water and feel as normal as they possibly can until their family's intact again.
No, and I'm going to talk about the event on June 20th in a moment. But can you tell people while we're watching now how, if they want to help you take care of some of these families and do some of those things, what's the best way? Is it to go to patriotfreedomproject.com?
Yes.
What's the best way for them to contribute if they want to?
Yes. Please visit patriotfreedomproject.com. That's patriotfreedomproject.com. You can go right to our donate page. It will give you multiple options to donate. You can donate directly through the website. You can donate through, sending a check in. You can donate through Give, Send, Go. There's multiple ways, but we need new supporters, new donors. I mean, we have very good support. We have very good donors, but we need to continue these efforts, and we need the American people to help us, and anybody, other foundations, lawyers that are out there, people that are watching, people that will come across this broadcast. They can get in touch with me, call me. I'm transparent. I like to talk to people, and and I'll share this story with anybody. Go get our book, Due Process Denied. It talks about these families. It talks about why Patriot Freedom Project was started. It talks about what we're doing and how we're helping. I mean, we have really good support behind us. Steve Bannon helped me raise money very early on by giving me a platform. Dinesh D'Souza was our first donor. God bless him and his wife, Debbie. They donated $150,000 to us. Julie Kelly, she helped us a great deal by, giving us a platform and talking about our efforts and everything that we were doing. And the list is long, and the biggest supporter of all and the biggest endorsement of all is, President Trump. We've had a few conversations. He's very concerned for the children. I've brought some of the children to meet with him. He gets right down there with the kids, hugs them, kisses them on the cheek, reassures them that their dads and their moms are good people, signs the caps for them, and, talks to them, asks them if they're doing good in school, and tells them they have to do good in school even while we're going through this. He's so extraordinary, that man. He is so wonderful and so charitable, and he loves these children immensely.
Now, I got about a minute before I have to take a break, but I want to talk about this event on June 20th, and I plan on being at, and I hope everybody watching will join me too. It's going to be an amazing time. I'm going to see if this overlay works. Hold on. If I screw up, let's see if this works here. Hey, look at that. It worked. So it's going to be at Bedminster in New Jersey. It's a great lineup. I plan on being there, and I hope you guys will join me too. Can you tell us a little bit about this event?
Yeah, so we had an event last year, two of them last year, at Trump National Golf in Bedminster. It's a private event, so it's and our tickets, we're just about sold out on our tickets, which is a great thing. People from New Jersey, New York, like our tri-state area, that's where we really focus, and they come out in great support. And we have some great speakers, as you can see on there is Alex Brusowitz and Jeff Clark. And, we have Ed, and we have a lot of people that are not speaking that will be attending just because they like to support, our work, and they like to come and see the kids and see the families. So, give us a call, send us an email, and we'll see if we can get you set up with a ticket.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it, and I hope to see everybody there as well. And look forward to meeting you in person as well. And I can't thank you enough for coming on the show. You're going to be joining us in the post-show X Space here in about 40 minutes. So I hope everybody comes over. And if you want to have a conversation with Cynthia, ask her questions, hear more of the story, because we're going to be talking about it for a while over there. I encourage all of you to go to the Pollack Show at 9 p.m. and go ahead and go over to that space. And we'll continue the conversation. Cynthia, thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Thank you.
And
Thank
best
you.
of luck to you, and keep up the hard work. And certainly there's a lot of people whose lives you made a tremendous impact, and you took something horrible and you're making something good out of it. And the world needs more people like you, certainly.
Thank you so much. That means so much to me. Thank you very much, David. Thank you. See you all later.
All right, we'll see you soon. All right, guys, I'm going to take a quick break, and we come back. We're joined by my good friend Sarah Raviani, and we're going to be talking about the drama in Iran. And that was terrible, I know. Anyway, quick break. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere, guys, and I'm going to go drink some water.
David Pollack here. If you're craving the best soft serve ice cream around, Topper's Creamery's got you covered. Serving the Apopka community for over a decade, Topper's is known for the finest old-fashioned custard-style soft-serve ice cream in a variety of flavors, from their French vanilla bean to exciting specials like German chocolate cake. But the experience doesn't end there. Be sure to grab a fresh baked waffle cone or a sundae topped with my favorite, the fresh baked brownies. They even offer pup cups for your four-legged friends. So hurry in to Topper's Creamery in Apopka, South 512 Hunt Club Road. Make sure to tell them David sent you.
With today's economic environment, it's never been more important to secure your hard-earned wealth for you and your family's future. FinSec Life works to offer industry-leading customer service to help successful individuals and businesses protect their wealth. Whether it's a business succession plan, estate liquidity, or a variety of life and long-term care policies, FinSec Life can help deliver peace of mind, knowing that if something happens, you or your company is taken care of. Visit finseclife.com. That's FINSEC life.com. Securities offered through Valmark Security Inc., member FINRA and SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through Valmark Advisors Inc., an SEC-registered investment advisor. FinSec Life is a separate entity from Valmark Securities Inc. and Valmark Advisors Inc.
Business owners, are you sick of dealing with those big-name telecommunications companies that leave you frustrated with terrible customer service and then lock you into long-term contracts? That's why I want to introduce you to my friends over at Public Telephone Company. They are an industry-leading VoIP provider offering all-in-one business communication solutions that are completely contract-free with competitive pricing. But perhaps the best part, they're all about supporting their customers with US-based customer service, and they're always willing to go the extra mile. Don't let your phone company drive you mad. Call Public Telephone Company today at 877-314-4080 or visit them at publictelephonecompany.com. That's publictelephonecompany.com.
Oh, Patriots, listen up. It's time to wake up and smell the freedom. Beard Vet Coffee is here to fuel your American spirit. This isn't just coffee. It's a battle cry in a cup, a declaration of love for the land of the free and the home of the brave. Crafted by the hands of those who've walked the walk, talked the talk, and, yeah, grown the damn beard. Vet founded, vet focused, and beard operated. This is coffee with a mission, a purpose, and a testament to the unyielding American spirit. It's a tribute to the tireless resolve that courses through the veins of our great nation. This is the taste of victory, the flavor of freedom, the coffee that stands as firm as our belief in America's destiny to lead and never to kneel. Beard Vet Coffee is more than a brand. It's a legacy steeped in the principles that make America great. It's for those who stand with pride under the stars and stripes, who uphold the values that light the torch of liberty for the world to see. So, are you ready to supercharge your day the American way? Beard Vet Coffee is not just a choice. It's a declaration of independence from mediocre mornings. Bold, brave, unbound. Brewed for the American patriot. Beard Vet Coffee. Make your mornings great again.
Man, I just want to drink coffee in that commercial. I just sit patriotic coffee and feel good about America. If you guys want to drink some Patriot America, go to beardvet.com, promo code David. Because in Joe Biden's economy, who can't use an extra 10%, right? It doesn't even get close to inflation, but hey, it's 10%. What did you and Puppet switch seats? How did you move sides of the screen during the
That's
break
on
here?
you.
Yeah, you're doing all that.
I didn't do anything. I'm still sitting where I'm sitting. You guys are switching, playing musical chairs. Anyway,
We are.
welcome
Puppets
back,
in the next
everybody.
room.
What's that?
I said puppets in the next room, really.
Well, yeah, I'm going to leave that one alone. I wouldn't trust Puppet anywhere near anybody's room. He's better off in a box. I like him over there with somebody else's hand.
Everybody loves me on the bed because I'm a My Pillow.
That's true. His head is made. If you guys don't know, Puppet's head is made from a My
Right.
Pillow.
Right.
He was born out of the My Pillow factory. Mike Lindell wanted a real boy who was conservative, just like Geppetto, but he got Puppet, who's leading the conservative charge. With very
I'm the people's puppet, damn it.
He's the people's puppet. Man, when you're talking, there's a delay. It's really funny.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know if it's
Why?
on my side or whatever.
No,
Anyway.
I can see it too.
Yeah.
You
It's like Godzilla or something. Anyway, yeah.
He's coming. Better watch out. Godzilla.
Oh my God. Anyway, all right.
Here he
I'm
comes.
wasting time. I got 14 minutes
There he
left
is.
in this show, and I got to get Sarah on this show right away. I'm really excited to actually have her on the show. She's been on my space a bunch of times. She's a visiting fellow at the National Union for Democracy in Iran. She's focused on Iran policy and current events. She was very, I call it, I think it's the Masha Act. I always screw it up. I think it's either Masa or Masha, but she was instrumental in having it passed through at least the House. And she has been an awesome advocate for a free Iran, and I'm going to bring her on right now, if I can click this button. Sarah, welcome to the David Pollack Show. Can you see us? Sarah. Hello, she doesn't know she's on the show. Sarah. Hold on, I'm going to take her off. Hello. Hey. All right, hold on. I'm going to text her because I don't want to. Anyway, you guys talk amongst yourselves about what's going on in Iran while I get her ready.
Well, I heard there was an accident. Yeah.
There was.
You know, the other day I was actually thinking about this. I was like, man, has any, presidential vehicle that's flying, ever gone down? Like, I mean, it's a
I think the last
there's lots of
president.
transportation fatalities, it happens all the time.
Come on, guys, keep it going.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it happen like magic on the presidential plane, that like keeps it in the air, regardless.
Well, what it makes me think about is the fact that this is a really old helicopter that they're using to transport the most powerful, important person, technically in Iran, and it breaks. I mean, it just makes me think about their military capabilities and their threats if they can't even keep a helicopter in the air.
Yeah, I think that. I mean, if this is really all true about the helicopter being a POS, like, do we really have to worry about their military equipment too?
Puppet, I said that the other day. I'm like, wait a second. like if they can't even fly their own helicopter, I'm certainly not worried about their nuclear capability. You're exactly right. Okay, I think Sarah's ready now. Let me bring her on. Gosh, we're gonna have to. Why is your mouth moving still, puppet?
Huh? Because I said something.
This show is like an Iranian helicopter. That's what's happening right now. Hang on a second. I'm bringing Sarah on. Sarah, can you see us and hear us? We can't hear you.
She must be muted.
Yeah, you might be muted. Hold on.
Or it's a gag order.
Yeah.
Or they're intercepting her.
This is what happens when you do a live show. We're going to get this fixed. Don't worry, guys. We're going to get it fixed. And wait. Can you hear us, Sarah?
Yes.
We can't hear you. We see you. I'm trying to mouth read. You said, I love this show. This is the best show ever. Even though you can't hear me,
yes, she's saying
everything
yes,
that I've heard about the show is true, and this is awesome.
Yes.
Yes. All right.
I like her.
Check your microphone.
She's great.
Check your microphone.
Worst case scenario, she will be in the space later, too.
Yes. No, we're going to get her on the show. Check your microphone and see what audio input you have. If you're using... All right. I'm gonna put her backstage real quick and we're going to get this figured out.
All right. You do that.
All right, guys. This is the part where you talk amongst yourselves again. All right, let me give you a topic this time because last time I just threw you to the wolves and it got weird.
I mean, we can talk about it.
No, but we want to lose viewers. And if I'm like, hey, talk amongst yourselves, and you go,
we were talking about the
We're fine. We can talk, you know.
No,
it's
you're
not like you're the only one that like.
Well, apparently I am because I leave it up to you guys for a second and.
You leave it up to us for a second, and we actually get to talk.
But it took you 5
Instead
minutes
of
to
you
establish the conversation.
Time.
It was like an awkward first date. I'm sitting here like
we were just surprised we got a chance to say something.
Oh, so you're like, oh my, is he gonna let us talk?
Like you? Oh, wait, yeah. You're not gonna monopolize the conversation?
All right. Well, hang on. Let me see if I can get Sarah to talk now. 1 second. Sarah, can we hear you? We still can't hear you. I don't know what's going on.
Because at least if we have her, then you won't have to talk.
I know. All right. Hold on. I'm going to take you backstage, and we're going to figure this out, Sarah. All right, guys. I'm going backstage, so y'all going to talk.
You go backstage.
Here's the topic. You ready?
Sure. You got nothing.
I have a topic.
Go ahead. I'm going to go backstage.
Okay, a question from
it's
the
all
audience.
on you guys. Don't screw it up.
Does Puppet take showers?
So, no, I do not, because I get wet and soggy, and then I have to be wrung out or put in the dryer, which is not very fun, tumbling around.
I would think the dryer would be a little bit like concussion inducing.
Yes, it is. Even though my head is on my pillow and I'm soft and cushiony, it's still not fun. I keep going around and around and around.
So do you like spot clean or do you
I get
like
spot
a
clean, but the manhole does tend to get a little sweaty and stinky in there, So just like anybody, you gotta.
So is your deodorant then like Febreze, like fabric freshener?
Yes. Febreze is my jam.
So it goes in the manhole.
I dig
when
Febreze.
I get soggy.
Yeah. Well, it's like an old shoe. You got to air it out.
This is what you guys talk about.
Someone asked a question in the chat.
We were trying to involve the audience, David.
What was the question in the chat? Let's see.
Does Puppet take regular showers?
Oh, guys, John David. You guys should know better than follow him down the puppet holes.
Okay.
I go backstage for a second. I come back. And
We're
you guys
talking about sponge baths and manholes.
Like, keep it on topic. I mean, whatever.
I mean, if I'm gonna take a shower, I would prefer a sponge bath.
Because liberals don't think people are showering too much. So, we were weaving that in there.
Okay. Do people shower too much? That's the question?
Yeah. Don't you remember that headline that came out?
I'm going to give you something to talk about. I was saving this for cleanup time. And, but I'll put this up.
I was going to talk about it.
Look, I found this on the internet. The question here that I'm posing for you guys, what's the story here? Is he famous? Is she famous? Are they together? Is he rich? Discuss.
Do you already know the answers to these questions?
No. I just found this picture and I thought it would be a very interesting topic of discussion.
Maybe that's her brother.
He's the rich one. She's not.
Maybe that's her brother, and he had some
It's
kind
like
of.
he wants to be buff, but like he has a very interesting build.
Looks like he was buff, and
he
then
was buff,
or
and then they just like
fatter,
pulled
way
out
fatter.
the plug and deflated him.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't even look like he lost a bunch of weight. It's almost like he's a deflated former bodybuilder.
Yeah. Or
The deflated bodybuilder. I look like he like maybe had some kind of surgery or something and maybe thinned out.
But
yeah,
he has
that's
like
possible.
a build, like the way his shoulders are. There, it's as if there's like muscular buildiness to him.
So the question is, if he was just a normal dude and he was standing next to just like a normal looking woman that wasn't looking like she was, would anything be weird about this picture? Because he kind of looks like the average American at a resort pool.
It looks like they hang out together and he eats most of the food. And she's missing some. She's like not getting.
Well, now you're just being mean. All right, let me
She's
take
not getting her fair share. That's the problem here.
Maybe she's not eating and he has to clean
she
her
looks
plate.
like-
Maybe she stops eating and he's like, well, you're going to finish that? All right, let's try one more time.
He's like, hey, can I eat those fries?
And she's like, I'm not going to eat them. Where's
And
Sarah?
she's going to be like,
Where did Heather go now?
She got mad at you for that dumb pick.
Well, we lost Heather. I think I got Sarah, though. Let's see if this works. Sarah, can you hear us? Ah, we can't hear
but
you.
I still can't hear her.
God, this
Dang
is
it.
killing me.
Ah.
We really want to know what you have to say.
Yes.
I do. All right, let's do this. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Ready? Okay. What is this? Rashi, whatever his name was, Rossi. Good thing or a bad thing that he is no longer president of Iran? Good thing. Okay. His replacement. Good. Oh, look at that. It did a little bubble. Good thing or a bad thing? His replacement used to be a financier of terror, right? Who's worse? The former president or the current president?
One or
Thumbs
two.
up for the current president? Actually, we'll do one or two. Who's worse? One, former president. Two, second president. New president. They're both equally bad.
This is great.
I feel like
this could be a
I feel
much better conversation if we could hear her.
Little Mermaid, you know, when Little Mermaid doesn't have the voice, everybody's frozen. What is going on here tonight?
I'm not frozen.
All
You're
right,
not.
for a second.
Maybe I just wasn't talking.
You was just a result of a normal helicopter crash because they were flying piece of garbage helicopters in the fog in the mountains, or do you think it was a storm-induced blizzard and or sabotage / assassination? Number one or number two? Number one. Iranian unable to get replacement parts, shouldn't have been flying in the fog. At the end of the day, is this going to help lead to a free Iran, or is this just kind of a puppet figure anyway? No offense, puppet. And really, until the leadership is gone, doesn't really matter. Yeah, that's what's going to happen.
Okay, someone in our chat wants to know.
Yeah.
Thumbs up for vodka, thumbs down for tequila. Thumbs down for tequila. So you're in on the tequila. That's good. Yeah.
I'm talking about something serious here. I'm trying to get through sound issues, and you're asking, puppet, behave.
I'm just interacting with our crowd.
Thumbs up for, have you ever been on a show with a puppet? Thumbs down for, this is the weirdest thing you've ever experienced. See? The people are freaked out by you, puppet.
You gave her a bad choices.
No.
You gave her, have you ever been on a show with a puppet? Or is this the weirdest thing ever? Which is a no to both.
All right. Question. Sarah, thumbs up or thumbs down? Will you join us in our Twitter space at 9 p.m. We can actually talk about this with a microphone. Yes, thumbs up. All right, guys, if you want to hear from Sarah, because we're going to talk about this. We have Cynthia coming on. We have Sarah coming on. We're going to be bouncing all over topics a little bit tonight. But this is a really important development because, and Sarah, thumbs up or thumbs down? I'm concerned that Iran might use what happened as propaganda to blame Israel, to give another reason for them to possibly attack Israel or convince their people that they have to engage in a war. They're going to use this for propaganda for their own purposes, right? Thumbs up? Yeah. You're already starting to see all over social media. Now, today in the UN, I'm sure you've seen this, and I'm sure this made you very angry. In the UN, they took a moment of silence for this guy. What? Now, this guy was called, this guy, I think it was called, what, the Butcher of Iran or something like that, or the Butcher of something. He had one of these titles, like a villain title. But his guy's responsible for a lot of people dying. And I think he was responsible for, now is it Masha with an H or Masa with an S? Thumbs up, am I saying it right? Masa. Yeah. So this woman who was beaten to death, he was responsible for that, right? Thumbs up. So this was not a good man. So a moment of silence in the UN for this essentially a murderer.
We don't need to be in it. That's why. We shouldn't be in that shit.
The same UN that passed a ceasefire resolution that United States abstained from allowing it to pass against Israel, trying to go after Hamas, who, by the way, is funded by the terrorists are funded by Iran. And we'll talk about all that later because Iran's bad guys. But Sarah, before I
gotta tell you, David, this must be like your lucky day.
Like nobody can talk but me?
Well, yeah, I mean, you have a guest and you get to talk the whole time. Like that's like perfect for you.
But you still talk somehow. I don't know why you're still talking.
I forced my way in. I am the sidekick or whatever you want to call me.
You're side something.
I'm just saying, you know.
So
this
Sarah,
is like the best guest.
Thumbs up. Oh, I got to start this space. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Actually, thumbs up or thumbs down. Will you come back on the show so we can talk about this again? And hopefully next time we can hear you. All right.
Yay!
Sarah, thank you so much. I got to run. It's like The Little Mermaid, but cooler because it's not woke. Actually, Little Mermaid wasn't woke. That was before Disney went woke. So hopefully you got your legs, and now next you'll get your voice, and you can go walk on the streets. And next time everyone will get to hear from you, and we'll talk to you soon in the space. Enjoy the event you're at. And sorry we couldn't hear you tonight. We'll fix it for next time. And thank you so much for coming on the show. Thumbs up if you had a good time.
Yay!
All right, we'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
It'll only cost you your voice.
That's right. All right, guys, I got to go start this space. I hope you guys had fun on this show tonight. I don't know what happened to Heather. We'll see you. Go right over to X at the Pollack Show.
Go to X.
We're going to start this space right now. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do it from my phone while we're sitting here.
You go.
That's just the kind of guy I am. I can just get stuff done just like this. And anyway, that's it, guys. Good night. Come join us at Puppet. What you learned tonight, is this what you do in your live? You roll with the punches, and sometimes it makes great television.
Yes,
so just deal with it. We lost Heather. Sarah lost her voice. I had to deal with you by myself. You're delayed. Whatever.
I'm still delayed.
Yeah, you're delayed mentally. All right, guys, we will see you on the space right now. I'm going to go start it up, and we'll see you over there. Good night, everybody.